Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Hey, how y'all doing? Oh my
Good. How are
goodness.
you?
I'm great. I'm
Flowing.
great.
That's how we
Yes,
do.
we are flowing. That's right. We are flowing with
You
that
like how I
E.
did that?
I love it. I love it. Well, welcome, heartbeats and listeners. We are here for episode 52, and this is our third episode in season 3 from the Heart of Chat.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Season
Time
3.
is flying. Season 3. Can you believe it? So this is the second episode in our series. We're doing like a little mini series of sorts. So we have a season and then we have a mini series within a season, right? So this is the second episode in our little mini series with our words of the year. So last week, you heard the word of the year was power of surrender. So surrender was Jeanette's word, and today Shauna is up. The power of flowing with ease. So that's Shauna's word and or phrase for this year. And then next week we have something else specially planned for you. But we wanted to take it and just throw it over to Shauna for a minute to talk about her flowing with ease and like how she came up with that. But I do think it applies to all of us and how this phrase, these words are interwoven in all the things that we have either gone through this year, things we've accomplished, and how that sort of got in our space a bit. So Shauna, I'm looking at you. Take it away. Take it away, Shauna.
Flowing with ease. Now that we've surrendered, how do we flow with ease, right? When I think of flowing with ease, every time I hear that phrase, I feel like it's like water. I don't know why, but I see water when I hear flowing with ease. And I feel like I'm going to be real honest. I really struggle with flowing with ease. I come off real like a very easy, peaceful individual. I meditate. I do the yoga poses. I do all of the things. I try to be present as best as possible. I really struggle with consistency with it. I feel like when you're thinking about water flowing, and then there's rocks in the water, which will represent in my life my challenges that comes about. I feel like as soon as I hit the rock, I come to a complete halt and I don't know what to do. And I could read all the books. This Jeanette's voice. You can read all the tools. What you gonna do with it? And sometimes I come to a complete halt and I'm paralyzed. Even though I know what I should be doing, I still have a hard time with the consistency of it. And I'm working really hard each day and every single moment on my mindset, because it always goes back to your mindset. It always goes back to what you know your truth is. And I've been walking around asking myself that this week when I feel like I've been like, and I'm like, what's your truth, Shauna? What is your truth? We talked a lot about the inner critic, and I've admitted that I have an overactive inner critic. So I'm constantly have to keep myself in flow and keep my inner critic in check, and also use the inner critic as a motivating factor for me to continue my flow. That's where I'm at with that. It's the consistency part that I need. I'm getting better with this. I feel like I should finally have this down by now.
And I say the same thing sometimes, and it's hard because you feel like that, right? You feel like, oh, I should have this down. I should know it. But like, it's just this life. And anytime you get past one hurdle or one challenge, it's always going to be something new, something different. I mean, you might have a stretch where things are flowing, right? But it's always going to be something. And not to get like spiritual or anything, but like, I can remember like my mom saying things like, if you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, then there's always going to be obstacles. But if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, things are going to seem like they're just going great. Like, oh, because you're just not paying attention. You're not trying, you're not pushing yourself. And so life just seems easy, right? And then sometimes we see other people just living life. You're like, why does it seem like they just don't never have no problems? It's because they just don't care about what they're doing, and they're not actively trying to like better themselves, right? And even the richest people that we see in the world, they suffer with, anxiety and depression and things like that.
No one's exempt.
Yeah, no one's exempt, but it's like the greater, I guess, not greater, but the more you try to like work on yourself and go against what this world sometimes puts in front of us, you're always going to hit some type of obstacle or stumbling block or something that's going to, I think it's just life like refining you and making you better. You know what I'm saying? So.
It hurts.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't saying
it.
Or fun or none of the above,
No.
but it's, it's life, man. It's life. And that's why I try to tell my kids all the time, it's always going to be something. It's always going to be something, but you have to, I don't want to say that because that's our next episode, but you have to choose joy. And we'll talk about that later, but it's always going to be something.
It is. And life gets in the way sometimes, these different things. I mean, Shauna, you talked about consistency. Are you speaking about different areas of your life and flowing with these, whether it be something, and we always talk about this, creating content to, showing up in a certain space or place that you may or may not feel as confident or comfortable in? Is it something along those lines?
Consistency in knowing that I am the ish. I'm a rock star.
That's coming up.
I'm all that in a bag of chips. There are no problems, only solutions. Consistency in knowing that is my truth, and knowing that that's the way I need to flow. I'm over hitting my head up against the wall. I'm over trying to go against the current. Like, I'm past those stages. I do naturally, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally have to flow with ease. My essence right now doesn't have a choice. I need my mind to get there. I need my mind to stop getting in the way. I need old stuff to stop coming in the way.
That's that eternal battle of the heart and the mind. Like, it's always gonna be something.
That discord,
Yeah, you always have to tell yourself, like, no, we're not. What we're not gonna do is that.
Yeah.
And so for me, flowing is just like kind of similar to Shauna, but it's just like getting out of my own head. Like, come on now, you making it something bigger than it needs to be. Let it go, or just accepting. Okay, this happened. Move on. Now, what are you gonna do? You can't continue to live in that space forever. So that's how, for me, where I kind of hit those rocks is when I get caught up in my head and in my thoughts, and it's like, why are you stop moving? Like, everything is going. Like, jump back in the water and keep moving. Like, don't
swim.
Let me tell you, I can talk myself out of anything. Like, I can find 1,000,001 reasons to talk myself out of the most amazing opportunities and be okay with it. Like, yeah, I believe that. We're like, no.
Deep down unhappy,
liar.
Why we feel the way we do.
The enemy is like, you're a liar. Stop lying to yourself.
Yeah, I think mine goes back to the power of saying no, which is like one of our episodes from either last season or our first season. And it's like, I say yes to like too many things, thinking I'm flowing in it. And then when it all bubbles up, I'm like trying to figure out which one of these things am I going to do without feeling the guilt part of it. And then I ask myself the question, why do I feel guilty for saying no to things that I should have said no to in the first place? So I've had to learn to pause, because I'm really quick on my feet when it comes to like activities and when it comes to like finishing things, being a doer. And I have to stop. I gotta stop and then like think, okay, Linda, this is not helping you flow here. Like, you got to really work on that. So I'm learning. I'm practicing. I'm learning to pause a bit before saying yes to something that I know that I need to work on this. So that's where my flow. So I'm in the water, but I'm just kind of like skipping in the water. I'm not like down, in the middle of the ocean. So
well, it's two sides to that saying no coin, right, Linda? So like in Shauna Rhimes' year, yes, right. Yes. It wasn't always just about saying like, so for her, she was saying no to like a lot of speaking engagements and other opportunities, but sometimes she was saying no to her family when she should be saying yes to her family. So I think for us too, it's like, yes, knowing what to say no to, but then also stop saying no to yourself and say yes to yourself and give yourself, the yeses that you need to flow
Yeah.
more, to be better, and to take care of yourself in a better way. And I feel like in general, Linda, you do a really good job of like self-care and finding pockets of time for yourself. But we all, have work to do. I know I definitely am probably, of the three of us,
We're gonna help you with that, Jeanette.
but
That's
saying
good.
yes to myself. But let me tell you, this
Mhm.
past weekend, I definitely Saturday, I was like, I don't want to get out this bed. I'm supposed to sit
Mhm.
right here. Or I took a trip recently to support a friend through some stuff, and I was like, take my laptop. Don't take my laptop. Okay, well, don't take the laptop, but take the iPad. No, don't take the iPad. Just. I literally packed a backpack and was like, that's it. I was like, this is the lightest I ever packed for a trip.
Yeah. Yeah, there's power in that, and you flowed into that and was like, yep, I'm not giving in to the iPad or the laptop and all of these different things. You were able to kind of rise above that, and yeah, that's also an excellent point. But that self-care thing is key. That flowing, yeah, when your body needs it. Sometimes we do ignore it, and we got to flow into that because that just sustains us.
So I have a question for Shauna. So when you picked this word of this phrase of the year, really. So first you was like, my word of the year is flow. And then you was like, no, it's gonna be flow with ease. Can you like explain why you needed to add the ease part onto that?
I felt like I needed to tell myself that I need to conform and surrender to the flow. Because Shauna, the flow would just be like you going with the flow, but not necessarily with ease.
Or with joy sometimes.
Yeah. He's fighting.
Like, all right, I'm here. What?
Right, exactly.
I also felt like what you were talking about, saying no and saying yes to yourselves, Linda and Jeanette. Everything we do takes energy. And even though it may be, oh, I have time on my schedule, or I'm feeling good today, my cup is full, I've done my self-care, I still feel like we still have to sit back and reevaluate. Because it's nothing like giving yourself even more. Why do we have a certain limit of self-care? Why do we have a certain, I always speak about scheduling a day off for yourself. Or for myself, every 90 days, I need a weekend getaway or I'll crash and burn. I know me. Or DSD day, which is a day that I created with my late husband.
Say it.
It's Dumb Shit Day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dumb Shit Day is a day that we put on the calendar. He thought I was crazy. And then after a while, he was begging me when was the next DSD day. And so I would actually look at our calendar. We had a shared calendar, family calendar. And I will place these on the calendar based on what he had going on and what I had going on. And the rule was when Dumb Shit Day came, you was not allowed to come out of your pajamas. And we were not allowed to leave our place. Anything we wanted to do at home, we could do. If you want to read a book, if you want to hang out, and it had to be like fun stuff, things that you just wanted to be, things that you never have time to do. And a lot of times we would read together in the living room. He's reading a book, I'm reading a book. And then we would commit to a certain hour where we would stop our individual activities. And then we would come together and watch a movie or a series or do something together. So Dumb Shit Days was very important to us. And I managed to get, before he passed away, we experienced that about the last 3 years. And it was fuego, baby. It was fuego work. It was a fuego activity. It was a lot of fun. So I feel like even though we have the time on our calendar to help others, to do all of the extra stuff, something was removed from from the schedule. Why are we filling it back up with something else? Why don't we use that for ourselves? Even if it's just to one of the things that Linda does is she dates her sofa,
Yes.
So I love that.
Yes, I love the date time with my sofa. So yeah, as you know, you ladies know the work. My corporate job, it's very demanding and it takes up a lot of time. And lately I've had to go in the office quite a bit. So I've been used to working at home for the last 18 months or so. And now going back to the office, I've kind of had to readjust some things a bit and being okay and flowing with that. Man, I come home tired, okay? But I know that I have, the times like, okay, what days can I sit on the couch? I mean, that's like my existence right now. It's like, okay, if it's one day, okay, I know already, and you ladies know this, and you guys are going to hear this now, but Thursday nights is like my night. Like that's my TV night. That's a night where, I kind of date myself a little bit. I don't know if it's because I know the next day is Friday. I recently just started doing that. That is like my day. And it's probably the one day out of the week that I stay up past 10 o'clock, which I'm an early person, but I stay up past, I make it my mission. It's like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Get Maddie together. I may check in on Miles. He's away at school, but just kind of having that date or time to do that. And maybe it's not every Thursday, maybe 3 Thursdays a month, because coming up soon, we're going to be traveling and we'll get into that in a minute, but it's just having that time and space to do that. So sometimes emergencies come up. I might have to bring my laptop to the couch, but I'm still going to sit there and do what I have to do there. I might just have to change up that flow a little bit, and I still get my couch time or my sofa time a little bit.
Couch potato.
I like that.
You a sweet potato.
Oh, I love sweet potato. I have a sweet potato in the fridge now. By the time this airs, it's gone. But yeah, sweet potato is up in the fridge right now. It's waiting for me. Yeah.
It's gonna be gone by then.
Yeah, it's gonna be gone by the time this airs, but it's still good stuff.
One of the women that we admire and follow is Denise Umbria, Positive Life Haven. And she recently sent out a newsletter about honoring the harvest. Because me and her had talked about this, and I know she said she had just sent out that email right before we talked about it. But she was like, the seasons are changing, right? And me and Shauna talked about this, like winter, like fall. I'm energized in the fall. It's like finishing off my year. Winter time, like December through February, count me out. My new year does not start to like March, April, like. And but she was saying that, with the season changing and everything, like you still need to take stock and like, yes, this is a time to like kind of rest and hibernate and rejuvenate yourself, but also taking stock of all the things that have happened, the seeds that you planted that have blossomed and all the great things. And for me, that's just practicing gratitude. And she gave a lot of other ways in her newsletter, but go sign up for it if you can. But I say that to say sometimes we struggle with flow is because we feel like we haven't done enough. We feel like there's something more to do. And so, and when someone is trying to like shift your current, right? And say, no, we're gonna like flow this way, and you're hitting that wall. It's like, no, the current is going this way. No, I have got to get through this wall. Sometimes it's like, okay, I've done enough. I need to just kind of let it flow, and then things may come back around to where it needs to be. But just honoring all the things that you've done, I think helps you like just release stuff, right? Like, you know what? It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was. And when I took that weekend off, everything kept moving, right?
Yeah.
Didn't lose nothing. Clients kept coming in. My kids were fine. My husband was fine. Sometimes you just have to let it go and release it. And it's just hard.
That easy all the time.
Yeah.
What's difficult is we get in the way of it.
Yeah.
And I keep saying to myself, this, I love this passage, this too shall pass. And I love that because it's the truth. If you look back in your life, you can count all the times that you were resilient and you made it through. You didn't die. You ate every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look at those things in your life. I made it through. I made it through that. I made it through that. And then every time a new challenge comes, sometimes so we're reading the book, You Are a badass, how to stop doubting your greatness and start living an awesome life. And one of the chapters talks about how we, thank you, Linda,
Sure.
how we feel like rock stars one day, we can take on the world, we got this. And then our inner self pulls us back 14 steps back, pauses us. And then we go back up like again, and then we go back. We waste so much time doing this. And then we wonder why
playing tug of war with ourselves.
Why our inner critic starts coming in, why all of these things are coming at us, because we're not flowing and going in the direction that we know that we're supposed to be going in. And we keep pulling ourselves back and wondering why we feel the way we do.
I just got a visual when you said that, like playing tug of war with yourself, right? And yourself like, come on, let's go this way. And you're steady pulling back. Finally, yourself is going to release it, and you're going to fall back on your butt because you was pulling so hard, and you let go of the other side of it, and then you fall and hit the wall, and it's like, oh, okay. Well, I shouldn't be pulling that hard. Yeah.
Definitely. And that speaks to controlling the outcome.
That's the awakening.
Yeah. You're trying to control the outcome. It's like, I'm going to control it. It's just going to flow this way, but the current is actually pulling you over here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely the ease part. We just have to really surrender, and we have to learn how to go with the flow. And I promise you, I'm going to nail this, and I'm doing very good. I am very, very proud of myself. I've come a long way.
You have been doing really good. There have been some moments recently where I know you wanted to be like, I said I was gonna do all these things today, and life is like, but we need you to do this instead.
Yes.
She's like, y'all be so proud of me. I didn't even think about it. I didn't complain about it. I didn't let it go. And back to what you said earlier is we think we're flowing, but you spend half the time complaining. It's like, it's like when you invite somebody somewhere, they really don't want to be there, so they complain the whole time. But why did you even come? You should have just stayed where you were.
You should have stayed.
You never feel like that. Please stay home.
Right, exactly. For sure. For sure.
Do not join.
Thank you very much.
I am a fiesta person. I'm a party person. And if you're going to come around me, you need positive energy. If you have to stay, por favor, keep that at home or leave it at the door.
But I really believe and this is, I know we have men that listen to this, but this is for my women, and I mean I'm sure it applies to men and however their cycle applies to them, but like for women specifically, like my energy level is directly related to like the cycle of, like, I think of the full moon and how I'm just gonna say how my flow is connected to that, and the times when my energy is like really high, and I've been kind of loosely tracking it. Like it's usually the same time in the cycle, like the full 29-day cycle of the moon phases, that I feel a certain way. And it could be, if you don't want to talk about the moon, that's fine, but think about your womanly flow. Like my energy level generally is the same, high and low. And when I recognized that, I was able to be like, oh, this is why I'm feeling this way today. And I'm not doing nothing today.
Yeah.
And I can't remember where I read, I don't know if it was in an article I read it in, but they talked about that and how you should plan your life around that. And like you shouldn't plan like important high energy things when you know around that time you're gonna be low energy. And so I mean that might be deeper than people want to really think about it, but
that is extremely serious, and it's facts. When it comes to the moon, there's facts when it comes to the sun. And Cara Gomez, which we had, I believe she was our first guest that we had on the Heart Chat a couple seasons ago. Her work speaks a lot about women's cycle surrounding and the sun, and actually she speaks a lot about praising those times where you're feeling low and just going with the flow with ease. And that's what she does with her clients. She helps them to recognize that and to really take in the fact that there's some very powerful time in life.
Yeah, I agree with that because just recently I had to go to work for a few days. And I'm gonna tell you that week before I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be in the office next week. Is it gonna come? Is it gonna come? Right. And it came like right before that. I'm gonna tell you, I was doing a praise dance because I had to sit in the training class for 2 of those 4 days. And I was like, oh my goodness, that is so true. I was specifically tracking it because of that, because I didn't want to be kind of dealing with that while I was in this class. And then, all the things I was like, yes, I was praising. I was so excited because my energy the week before the class, I was just like, I get very sleepy. And my couch, talk about the couch. I had a date with all 3 couches and my bed. Okay. So that's what it is. And it's just like, oh, but, so the next week when everything was done and the moon had passed and all that, I was able to be in my class. I'm like, hi, good morning. I'm here. If you had caught me 5 days prior.
They would have done that the week before.
I would have been like,
this is.
I would have been like this. Hello. Y'all, because it was not like, I just get really, really sleepy. So, and I'm already
past all of that. I don't have to go through that anymore. I'm so grateful. Everything ended at age 44. I don't know why or how. I'm the youngest in my family that has experienced that. And I really think it was, I don't know, but I just have this feel like it's connected to the way I eat. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
The last 9 years I've been a pescatarian, and I really believe that has something to do with it. I was the young person, how when you were younger and your girl peers were so excited whenever that day came. They felt like they were a woman, and and which it is. It's a celebration, and all those things. I was not that one. I was not that one.
I don't know who your girl peers.
I was like, who are them people?
That wasn't the experience in my community either. That was like,
and I was late. I was 14.
Okay.
And my sister was light years ahead of me on everything when it came to changing from a girl to a woman. And I absolutely did not care for it. It was just not, I love how women are showing that it's worthy to be praised. You know what I mean? To be it's part of the life cycle. It's part of what you go through. But I am absolutely thrilled that I'm not in there anymore. And I thank God every day for he knew how I felt.
You just gave me an idea though. Just trying to figure out how to change, because that's something that we talked about before, and I don't want to get off topic, but
we're flowing
making it, I know, right? Making it normal to have these types of conversations about the one, like your body and your woman. As a woman, like, it should be celebrated and it should be recognized, because we would not be here.
Right, exactly.
For the woman's ability to birth children and have a flow. And I know with my oldest daughter, it was like, oh, what happened? I called my mama and told my best friend, like, oh my gosh, you got married. But like, I have 3 younger ones, and it's like, how can we shift that now and like celebrate it for them and make it like something that they should not be ashamed of. Because that's what I remember in school, like trying to hide it. You didn't want nobody to see.
Exactly.
It's a secret and all these things. And it was just like, my mom told me that's how they used to get money from my granddad, because he didn't want to he had 10 girls. He did not want to talk about it. And so they would tell him that it came on, they needed some money, and he got here. He would ask no questions. He just gave money. Jasper.
Jasper. Okay.
Jasper just handed over the money. Here, I don't want to talk about it. Go do what you got to do. Get whatever you need.
That's having that. I talked to Maddie. I talked to Maddie about it. Like she's like, Mom, can we? Oh yeah, let's go together. And she's still a little shy. She's 13 now, so she's still a little shy. But it's just like honoring those times. But like going back to what you said, Shauna, I was like, oh, maybe I need to become a pescatarian, because I'm almost 50. I'm like, where is this going? Like, I mean, I'm like clockwork. I'm like, okay, I always know I'm getting sleepy. So, okay, that's what I'm going to date with the couches this week and sleep for that extra 30 minutes in the morning and go to bed an extra 30 minutes early or whatever. But I'm like, maybe I need to change my diet. But them steaks be calling me though. But anyway, that's totally off topic as we flow. But yeah, it's like I'm almost 50. Where is it going?
I understand.
I was never ashamed. It was more of I was always in pain. I had very severe cramps.
Okay.
And that's why it was hard for me to flow with it, because I felt like I was being kicked in the gut the whole entire time. So it was I always had to take aspirins, and I always had to, and it never flowed with ease. And that's why I feel like I was granted permission to come out.
But I do think diet has something to do with that too. It makes a difference, because I've read so many different things and watched so many YouTube videos about like this topic, and it does. But okay. Anyway,
that was good. That's a great topic.
It was good. Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about this more on a future episode, ladies.
Yes.
So this is what we say when conversation shifts in this way. That means there's somebody that needed to hear this conversation. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad it came up, because I mean, definitely, another show topic for sure. And it's conversations that need to be had and discussed. And diet is key. I mean, I watched my sugar intake. I've been trying to do better with that, but I do notice that, it's not as bad this month because I didn't eat as many ice cream pops. So now I'm trying. so now y'all, just so y'all know, my dessert day is Fridays. So that's my reward system. So I started doing that, and I'm like, it's not as bad, but I'm still sleepy. But it's not as bad. Fine. Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with that. So yeah, great points, ladies. Excellent.
It takes a lot of energy to go through that process. So
excellent points.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
So do y'all want to take a brief intermission and talk to them about
the tour?
Yes.
Shauna, do you want to speak on the tour? Because we are
when does this air?
Your hometown. This airs on Monday, October 18th.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
October 23rd, Saturday in Cleveland at Cleveland Urban Winery. Live recording, music, food, signature drink from the Untitled Chapter will be offered.
She's like, what else? Nice. Unfortunately, the VIP tickets have sold out, but we do still have some general admission, just the special tickets for you all to come out and sit with us. It's going to be a super intimate experience.
Yes. Yeah, we have some sweet surprises for y'all.
So that we could be able to enjoy our heartbeats. Our heartbeats can enjoy us, and we can mingle and be merry together.
Yes, and some sweet surprises for you all. We are super thrilled and super excited, and we can't wait to see y'all. Can't wait to just be in your presence.
And there's only a select number of tickets for our admission as well, so please get your ticket today if you haven't gotten it.
Yeah, we thank you.
Awesome.
So back to flowing with ease. So we talked about the power of surrender and power of flowing with ease. And next up, our next episode, we're going to be talking about the power of joy.
Yes, the power of joy.
And so just talking about the two parts, right? Shauna or Linda, how do you feel that surrender ties into flowing with ease? And what comes first, surrender or the flow?
For me, it would be surrender. I can't flow if I don't surrender. And I'm stubborn. Y'all know that.
What?
No. I'm straight.
No.
Y'all know that. I'm militant. Everybody used to think I was in the military. Half my family have been in the military. They swear that I've been in a branch. We've talked about that before.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm all of those things. I feel like universally, I have to be sat down, and I have to surrender. in order for me to even, I have to be still in order for me to be able to flow with ease, because I would just keep going and I would keep doing my rigid ways and I will miss stuff because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I think you have to surrender, because I think part of it too speaks to me being in corporate for so long. I mean, this past September was 32 years that I've been in the government or some sort of
Wow.
corporate sector. And so it's like, yeah, part of that is, my dad was in the military. So everything was, very, organized, which I'm an organized person. But I'm having this breakthrough right now of, kind of surrendering to my creativity a bit more, which is causing me like, oh my God, what are you doing? What do you mean you're going to create this? You're not using PowerPoint. What? You're using Canva instead of PowerPoint for your presentations? It's like, yeah. So I tried that in my corporate space. It was received well, but I still felt like I was holding back a little bit because I didn't know how I was going to be received. And I'm just having that breakthrough of sorts. So I'm looking for that harmony in the best of both worlds. And maybe it's cutting back a bit. I'm not doing the 100-hour pay periods in my corporate, but upping my creativity. So I'm in that space where I'm trying to flow into that. So it's definitely some inner work going on with me right now, inner shifts, because corporate wise, I do like what I do. Is it the environment? Is it the space? Is it the surroundings? Because if I could pick up what I'm doing and still do it creatively, I would be okay with that. But now I'm trying to work that gap a bit, that surrender, that and flow into that with ease. So as we're speaking, this episode airs mid-October. I'm actually in this space of doing that work like right now as I'm speaking.
Yes.
Awesome. That's awesome, Linda.
Thank you. Thank you.
For me, so y'all know surrender was my word, or is my word for the year. And so when I picked it, it was I really like researched like what does that really mean, right? Because like you can surrender kicking and screaming or there's other, I'm like there has to be another more positive, because I wanted it to be positive, right? I didn't want it to be okay, fine, I give in. And so there was a quote that I had found when I picked the word by Danielle Laporte. I think she wrote the Desire Map. I think that's her work. But she says, surrender isn't about being passive, it's about being open. And that was my struggle, because one, I have a little bit of a control, just a little thing with control that I'm working on. Just a little bit. But so just being open, and I think and that openness, it allows you to, like Shauna said and Linda said, it allows you to flow. And so for me, I think one of the changes that I'm making is moving my business away from like web design and doing a lot of photography, doing like very specific photography projects, and then working with clients in a way that brings me joy, and not just doing things that make other people happy, because I'm so used to helping people and it's like, oh, well, this will make them happy. So fine, I can do that. Sure, yeah, I can do that for you. But really figuring out what brings me joy through helping people. Like I'm still able to help people, but also bring myself joy at the same time. And so just being okay with that and open to the fact that it's a transition. So like there's money tied to them websites.
Yeah.
Beginning. And figuring that out. But just knowing that, what is for me is for me, and that every day my needs are going to be met. And so I can't move forward if I have fear that I'm not going to have enough. You know what I mean? And so just being open to knowing that it's what I need is going to come, and I don't need to stress or worry about it. So I just need to continue to do my work. So that's kind of how, for me, surrendering. And it's so fun. Like I promise y'all, we did not intentionally pick these words. And even when we said them to each other, we didn't even realize, I think, until like into the year we were recording an episode and we talked about it, and we was like, hold up, these kind of like all flow together, and it's just so crazy how in sync and aligned we are in that way. But
I love it.
That's for me, that's how they tie in, and how like their words are mine and mine are theirs and vice versa. So
That's an excellent point, Jeanette. Yeah, we didn't discuss this at all at the top of the year. I mean, we kind of just went in and said, because I think we were invited, to a couple of vision board parties and different things, and we created those, but it wasn't like, hey, I'm going to pick this word. What's your word? It was like, I think I just showed up and, I went to the store and was browsing some magazines, and joy was like, it just reached out and grabbed me. I was like, that's going to be my word for 2021. And I think I bought like four or five magazines with the word joy on it, and I mailed you ladies. Yes, I mailed you ladies a copy. And it's just like, oh, this is cool. And I cut out the magazine and stuck it on my vision board, which is over here to the left of me. And it says the power of joy. And who would ever guess season 3, our power series? Just amazing.
I definitely want to guess.
Yes,
power and fuego.
That was like, I've done it. Because in our first season, Jeanette was like, we have too many words to say power.
The word power.
She was like, oh, I have an episode idea. The power of, I was like, if she starts another episode with the power. It took 2 seasons, but now here we are in the 3rd season.
I know.
And I surrendered.
How that works. You surrender.
Yes,
but
that's right.
Look, so then it's gonna be all out of her system. So then by season 4, she can be like, I don't know. We said power all season.
Yes,
pick another word.
Never was that.
All I can say is thank you, Insecure. That's all I can say, because we got this idea from Insecure and just how they titled their episodes with something and then whatever the topic is. So they have their word of the season. So our word of the season is power. So it's awesome.
Love it. Mm-hmm. So is there any like takeaways that y'all want to leave the audience with today and our listeners and heartbeats around?
Mm-hmm.
I would say keep practicing with flowing with ease. Start off trying to surrender things that come your way. And if you know instinctively, intuitively, if you're fighting against something, you know it. No one has to tell you because you can feel it. And I would say try to work on easing back, giving yourself grace, and see what happens. Go with the current and see what happens, because everything that we want is here for us. We just have to go after it, but we need to go after it with a easeful flow.
I would say just when you're hitting those walls and those rocks and things are happening, just ask yourself, like, why are you feeling the resistance? Like, what is it really that's keeping you from, like, in Linda's case, like, is it something that you really need to say no to? Or, are you just, struggling or doubting yourself, or the fear or something like that? So just really take note and stock of like why you're not moving forward, and start from there. And don't try to solve everything at one time. One thing at a time.
Too funny. Yeah, I think for me, just don't fight against it. Be open to what you're surrendering to something, you're flowing in it. Like I talked about, just my creativity breakthrough, and not fighting against it, thinking it's bad or wrong because maybe in your corporate space it's not quite there yet, but you feel like you're light years ahead. And sometimes you're afraid to bring that energy into certain spaces and places. So I have to work on that piece of it. So I'm dealing with that now as we speak. So it's just like, so this episode is going to totally help with that. I've been sitting here taking notes. If you all see me looking off to the side here, if you're watching this video, I'm taking mad notes over here.
Be a trailblazer.
I'm just, and that's the part I'm struggling, because I'm like, I've never been one that, I'm not the Diana Ross of my my tribe. I'm kind of like in the background. I'm okay with that though. I'm cool with that. But then in some
dream girls,
and in some spaces and places, I have to show up and be the Diana Ross, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I'm quite ready for that. But I know I got to get there at some point, because I have things to say. I have creative projects and things that I want to get out there. So it's getting out of my own way. So it's surrendering, flowing with ease, and getting out of my own way. So I'm going to be working on that, and we'll see. We'll check in next year, 2 months to see where I'm at.
Oh my God, it is almost next
year. It is almost next year, isn't it? Yeah.
But I'm like, wait a minute, you way ahead of time now.
I know. Yeah.
Quarter.
Yes. This was great, ladies. Great. Any final words before Shauna takes us out and Yeah, let everybody know where to find us and how they can connect with us.
You can find and connect with us everywhere at the Heart of Chat. Come back next week and every week because it's going to be Fuego, baby. Come back.
Yes.
Bye, ladies.
Bye, ladies. Thank you.